welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing for you my easy natural glam. This is the makeup that I throw on when I am going out for dinner or I want to look put together for something, whether it's a meeting or I never do this for a meeting. It's like going out makeup, okay? But it's very much focused on the base so that you can spend a lot less time on the eyes and looking very like perfected skin, but everything else is super quick. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Just to let you know also that I am going to be taking a little break from uploading for a few weeks, just to kind of have a little bit of time to rest and get my thoughts together and get my creative juices flowing again. I feel like I have been a little bit overstretched the last few weeks and it's starting to wear thin on me. So it can get a lot sometimes when you're balancing lots of different areas of your life. So I hope that you guys understand that. I will be back, but I just wanted to let you know if you don't see videos from me for a few weeks, that's why. I'm totally fine. I'm just taking some time to chill, spend time with my friends, my family, my cat, and have a little YouTube holiday. So yeah, did just want to let you guys know that. And without further ado, let's get into the makeup. So I have just put on my skincare. It is very hot in this room, so I'm looking extra glowy, but I have put on a moisturizer and SPF, which does usually give my skin a bit of glow. So I use the Dermalogica SPF booster. It's like a moisturizer, but yeah, I'm looking quite glowy at the moment. So I am going to be using all Uoma base products today. They are black owned, they are cruelty free, they are Logical Harmony approved, and I have been testing out their foundation, concealer and the contour and highlight stick for a fair few weeks now. I reckon I've had these probably like 3 weeks, maybe 4, and I've worn them a fair amount. So I do have some thoughts. I will be applying them, and this is going to be a very kind of easy glam. When I have like 20 minutes to go out the door, this is the kind of makeup that I would wear. This is the Uoma Say What foundation. I am in the shade White Pearl T2N. So they do have different formulas depending on what category of skin color you are. So they have very fair skin, which is what I am, and then they have fair skin, olive skin, rich tan skin, brown skin, dark brown skin, and they're all going to be slightly different formulas, basically based on what the most common skin concerns are for those formulas. So for this particular one, for very fair skin, it says the most common concern with this skin type is hypersensitivity and redness. The White Pearl formulation is created with microalgae extracts from the thermal waters of Ilia, considered the European capital of well-being. This extract is known to relieve sensitive skin, help reduce inflammation, minimize the skin's response to stress, and promote natural regeneration. I don't know if it's doing any of that stuff because I really haven't tested it out for long enough. What I can say is that it gives a very, very natural matte finish. It definitely still gives my skin glow even when I don't have this much of a glow on underneath, and that is what I really love about it. It reminds me a lot of how before I was cruelty free, I used the NARS, the NARS Sheer Glow, and it really reminds me of that type of finish, like a very sort of lit from within, like a satin glow, but it does dry down and it doesn't come off my face. So it's quite a thin texture as well. This shade is a pretty good match for me, and I way prefer how this blends out with a sponge. I have recently bought the Dose of Colours beauty sponge, and I think it's just as good as the beauty blender. I've never used a sponge that is as good as a beauty blender, but this is. I prefer how this blends out with a sponge just because I think it melts it into the skin a bit better, because it is a very pigmented foundation. I find that if I use a brush throughout the day, I can kind of see the pigments sitting on top of the skin. And because they say that this is like a skincare foundation, it's almost as if the pigment is kind of suspended within a skincare product. And I would say that when I use it with a brush, I can definitely see that almost like the the skincare element of the foundation like sinks into my skin, and all that's left is the pigment, and you can kind of see, you can just see it on the skin if you look really close. So, but with a sponge, it's very quick to blend and it gives a much more natural finish throughout the day, and it just looks really, really seamless, and I love it. So I think I took about a pump on my hand. I used about half of it then, and it gives a nice natural look. I'll zoom you in. And you can build it up and you will get really good coverage with this. So I'm just kind of taking it on the areas where I have a little bit more peeking through and building it up. I also really love that this foundation doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. Even though it is a matte finish foundation, you really don't feel like you're wearing a lot of makeup. And as I say, when I blend it with a sponge, it doesn't look cakey whatsoever. Even though it is full coverage, you're not feeling like you're wearing cake face. So I really, really like that. I have been very impressed with it. Obviously the downside is that I don't really like how it applies with a brush, and it is a pretty expensive foundation. Definitely up there with your Too Faced, that kind of price. It's not any more expensive than that, but it is a high-end price. So that is going to cut some people out of being able to buy it. But I do think that if you are going to invest in a foundation, it's a really good one. So I am going to be using the Uoma Woke concealer. This is in the shade White Pearl T1. So this is supposed to be a shade lighter in theory. So this is T1 and my foundation is T2N. Obviously, I don't know if you can see there, but they are completely different colors. So that's also a thing that was a bit annoying to me. I assumed that this concealer would be lighter than T2 in the foundation because it is T1. It confuses me as well because they have a 2 on there, but then when you look at the shade, it's definitely White Pearl T1. The reason they have 2 is because this is step 2, this is step 1, and this is step 3. So I really love the formula of this, and actually when this is blended out, it doesn't look too dark at all. I was quite concerned when I saw it in the tube. I was like, oh my god, that is going to be way too dark. But it's not. It gives a really nice amount of coverage, and it's just hydrating enough where it doesn't like really cake up and look dry under the eyes, but it's matte enough to kind of set for the day and give you lasting coverage. So even though they do look like completely different colors, they actually work really well together on the face, and you don't look like you're wearing 2 completely different shades. They blend together really nicely, as you would expect. They work in conjunction very well together, and I've been really liking to pair them together as a combination. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit right on my dark spots just to build that up a little bit, and blend it with my fingers rather than a brush, just to get a little bit more coverage there. Then I am going to go in with the Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Duo Stick. This is in the shade White Pearl again. So this is quite a cool toned contour stick, and then they have a kind of pinky toned highlight on the other side. The highlight is honestly not my favorite. It's just not my favorite undertone to wear for highlight. It does give a really nice sheen. I wasn't really expecting it to show up at all just because of the undertone, but it does. You do look like you're highlighted, and it looks very natural. It doesn't look like you're wearing highlighter, but it's just a little bit dark, like, because it's pink when you put it on the tops of your cheekbones. I'll show you how it kind of looks. I, however, absolutely love this contour stick. I prefer this blended out with a brush just because it's quicker, but you can use a sponge. But this has replaced my Milk bronzing stick. I, as you know, really love the formula of that, but it only comes in 2 shades and it's just not, like, it's just not gonna work for a lot of people, basically. So this I really like, obviously, that it's very inclusive, and I actually think I prefer the formula. It seems like more creamy but less kind of slippy and slidey than the milk one. So I feel like it just kind of blends like a little bit more seamlessly in. The milk one is gorgeous, but it can, like, it is quite slippy and slidey, the formula of that one. And also the shade of this I think I do prefer, just because it's more of a contour shade, but I don't feel like I need to go in with a bronzer on top as well. I feel like it warms up my face enough to still be okay without an added bronzer on top. Yeah, I'm really, really, really liking it. I like the fact that it has a smaller tip than the milk one as well, because it makes it easier to be more precise, and just very, very impressed with that. I've been wearing that pretty much every day, you know, on no makeup days as well, when I wouldn't be wearing something like this. I've been throwing this on. I'm actually going to take this on my finger. I don't love drawing this on, just because I feel like it looks a bit too stripy, and I feel like it's going to mess what I have going on there. So I am gonna just rub my finger into that, do that, and then apply it to my cheekbones. So I just wish they'd made this a little bit more similar to the RMS Living Luminizer shade, just because I think that, like, you can see it does definitely highlight. It has enough kind of silver reflect in there to catch the light and make you look really glowy and natural, and obviously the creams sink into the skin seamlessly. The formula is great. The formula is not the problem. For me, it is the shade. It's just a little bit too pink. If I wasn't to apply it like that and I just drew it onto the skin, it would just look like a pink stripe, and then I'd have to go in and really work to, like, blend it out. And yeah, also because the formula of this is very creamy, whereas I feel like the contour stick is a little bit more solid than the highlight, and it's just like, I don't know if you can see this, but basically it's just very messy. I was thinking about getting the shade darker in this, but I think it would just be too dark for my skin, and the highlight in that is quite golden champagne, and again, not my preference. So over the two of them, I went for this because I thought it would be a safer bet, and I think it probably was. Then for blush, I'm going to go in with sheer Gerbera. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can never say that. From Stile, this is their Harmony Lip and Cheek Stick. Really beautiful formula, but I would not recommend this because they have about 3 shades and none of them are deep. So just like, this shade is great for me, but I just don't feel like if you were a lot deeper than me, you would be able to find one that works. They're all pretty light, and they did bring out a bronzer and a highlight, both very light as well, so it's a shame. And then when I am going out, you know, and I want my makeup to last, because I have worn so many cream products, I do normally go in with powder. So I'm going to take some of my Hourglass Veil Translucent just in the lid there and tap a lot of it off, and then just press it into my skin where it needs setting. I will tend to avoid this area of my cheek so that I still get the glow there, and just go under my eyes, under here, and in my T-zone. I find when you use a lot of the product on your face, it can, sometimes you can see it sitting on your face, but if you just trust the product and just keep using the excess that's on your brush and pressing it in, everything will be set and you'll still have a glow and it won't look like you're wearing powder. Okay, so when I am rushing to get out the door and I want to look glam, I will normally wear just a 1 cream eyeshadow look. The reason that I prefer cream to powder for this type of Glam is because I feel like it looks more sophisticated and you can make it look more dimensional just by using one shade, whereas I feel like that's harder. You can do it with some powder shadows as well, don't get me wrong, but it is harder to do and it's a bit more finicky, whereas this is like a slap on and go type of product. Basically all cream eyeshadows are. Just slap them on, blend them out, and they look very multi-dimensional. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in Rose Gold. If you are looking for a more affordable option, Jordana have a really nice little cream eyeshadow, like doe foot applicator thing. And so do Barry M, if you're in the UK and can't really get Jordana. Both of those options will still give you a really pretty look, but I just work this in to the skin with my finger. And I find the trick with this particular formula is to just keep pressing and keep blending it in. For brows, I'm just going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows as always and fluff that through, again, very quick. And then I wouldn't always do this step, but I am just going to very softly kind of define my top lash line with just a brown pencil eyeliner. I'm just gonna run it over the top like that, just to give a tiny bit of definition. Again, I just blend out with my fingers if I can't be bothered to find a brush. Light hand is key here though, and it really does come with practice. I'm gonna curl my lashes and then apply the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Volume 2 mascara, and then we have lips and then we're done. Okay, so for lips you can obviously wear whatever your heart desires, but I am going to first apply the Ilia Tinted Lip Conditioner in the shade Shell Shock. This is in, I think, their old packaging. I think they've changed their packaging. But then, because I can never have enough glow, I'm going to apply this Revolution Shimmer Bomb in the shade Light Beam. I'm really loving this at the moment, just putting it on top of anything. It catches the light so beautifully. And then just a quick tip, I will, whenever I have a gloss like this and it's clear, I will always wipe it off with a tissue or something after if I have pink on the applicator, just so it doesn't mess up the colour when it goes back in the tube. So that is the finished makeup look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and found this helpful. If you are looking for a quick and easy way to look pretty glam, I really do love these Uoma face products. I don't know about other skin categories, but certainly for the white pearl category, it's so flawless, it's so perfected, and it lasts for a really long time, but it doesn't make you look matte, cakey, you know, all those things that matte full coverage foundations can sometimes do. So that's it from me. As I say, I will be taking a little break from uploading to YouTube, so I will be back in a few weeks. I'm not going to put an end date on it at the moment. I just want to really properly rest, get my creative juices flowing again, and come back to YouTube with a fresh mind and lots of new ideas for videos. So if you do have anything that you would particularly like to see, please do leave a comment down below. I would love to see what you guys are into at the moment, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you do want to see more from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.